Hey guys, Tom Ruti here. So first of all, happy Saturday to everybody. And today is 21 to 21 day 5. So today marks 17 days until my 21st birthday. So we're getting there. Sorry if you hear any stray noises in the background. I've got a load of laundry going on in the background, and also the windows are open, so you might hear some planes flying in and out. So I'm back on my couch, as I have been in previous days, and I just finished watching Conan O'Brien. I recorded a bunch of his episodes on my DVR, and I'm playing them back. And this week was an incredible week. I mean, I don't watch a lot of late night shows. Not that I find them boring. There's nothing that really grabs me like, oh my god, I have to watch it this week. But this week it was. This week, Conan O'Brien is celebrating the music of George Harrison. And now, I don't want to bore anybody with this vlog, and I don't want to make it a history lesson either. But this is really important, and I'll say why. Is that I should get back to what I said first. He's celebrating the music of George Harrison because this week George Harrison released a box set of its first 6 albums, and so to honor that, Conan is having a different musical guest each day perform George's songs. Now, before you ask why George can't perform, well, he's passed away. He's passed in 2001, and so this week he had Beck on Monday, who did an incredible version of Wah Wah. Paul Simon, which was awesome. Paul Simon did a really, really nice version of Here Comes the Sun, one of George's most famous songs. And I just watched the performance with Danny Harrison, George's son, and his band. They did a song called Let It Down. And then the only one that I haven't watched yet, and I probably should have saved it for another vlog, is the last night, which was Thursday night, which is Norah Jones. She did a song called Behind That Locked Door. Now, of course, not really any of these songs are well known except for "Here Comes the Sun," because we all know George Harrison as a member of the Beatles, of course, and he wrote some of the Beatles' greatest songs: "Here Comes the Sun," "Something," "While My Guitar Gently Weeps." I'm probably missing a few in there, but there's tons of other ones, but those are definitely the most well-known ones. And so it's really important to me why I think they're doing this, because I feel like George was always given the nickname of the Quiet One. Each of the Beatles had their own nickname, and he definitely was the Quiet One because he was never really one to talk much or write much or even sing much. So I find it really nice that he's getting his due. And, this is where things are getting a little personal here, because I love George's music, both as a member of the Beatles and in his solo career. And like I said, I'm trying not to make this a history lesson, but I think it's really cool. Now, of course, the box set has 6 albums in it, and I actually have 4 of them. I should say the albums in the box set are like newly remastered with like new liner notes and stuff. So I have like the old CD editions. There are 6 albums: Wonderwall Music, which was the soundtrack to the film called Wonderwall, which, fun fact, is where the Oasis song title comes from. Just so you know. I don't think it's ever been on CD before. I could be wrong, but it is on CD now for all to have. I've only heard little snippets of it. It's pretty weird stuff. It's all instrumental from what I could tell. Some crickets chirping outside. It's kind of distracting me. Second album was called Electronic Sound, which is a weird album. Like I said, I've only heard snippets of it, but it's just kind of like George Harrison meets Frank Zappa meets really weird Pink Floyd in a way. It's really out there. And then the remaining 4 albums are what we refer to as like the classic George Harrison, so to speak. Starting with this one, 1970s All Things Must Pass. Now, this is the 2000. Yeah, this is the 2000 edition that George himself put together. This was actually one of the last projects he ever did before he died, was to reissue this album with bonus tracks, and in fact, the cover originally was black and white. For this reissue, he put it in color, which is kind of nice. A great album. It's on every list of greatest albums of all time. Well, almost every list. I know a couple that don't have it. It's a shame. Excellent album. It's a double album, so it's 2 CDs of fun in here. But excellent songs. These are all songs that for the most part, he wrote during the Beatles, but they wouldn't let him, have them on the album. So, of course, when this came out, this was like, many people were like, oh my God, he had these incredible songs, and there's so many of them. There's like, I'm not even going to name it. There's like 17 or 18 on here. not including the bonus tracks, of course. And people are like, these are all excellent songs. There were all of these that the Beatles didn't want them to do. So this is why it's a great album. Then the fourth album, because I was about to say second, it's the second classic George Harrison album, is Living in the Material World. You can see my reflection in the album cover there. This was the follow-up. I like this one. I have to admit I don't play it a lot. I feel like there's a lot of it that's really spiritual in it. Just look at some of the titles. The Light That Has Lighted the World, The Lord Loves the One That Loves the Lord, Be Here Now, The Day the World Gets Round. I feel like I'm hating on, but these are all really good songs. But you get a lot of spirituals in a row, and George was the spiritual one of the Beatles. But still a great album. But personally, I don't listen to it a lot. I only really, really like track 1, Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth, which was a #1 hit. Sue Me, Sue You Blues, Like This Light the World, Don't Wait Too Long, Living in the Material World, Be Here Now, Try Some, Buy Some. Those are the ones I really like. The other ones, I don't know. I feel like I definitely don't give this one as much of a spin as I do other records. Then comes the one that's not included in the box set, so I don't have it in this video, which is convenient because I don't have it on CD myself yet, is the Concert for Bangladesh, which, how all these charity shows that go on nowadays, like the 12-12-12 one for Sandy that happened just in 2012 recently, or there's Live 8 or Live 8, all these charity things. Well, George is the one that really started this back in 1971 for the refugees for to help those in Bangladesh. I don't know why I got the term refugees there. I don't know. And it was released as an album and a video. Excellent concert. And it's sort of a superstar concert too. It was him, Ringo from the Beatles, Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan, Leon Russell. I mean, probably the kids nowadays probably won't even recognize any of these names. But excellent if you want to get an idea of where these rock charity shows came from. George was the one that started it all back then. Then comes sort of the dark period, no pun intended, on George's fifth album, or third classic album, which is this one, Dark Horse, which a lot of people think it should be spelled H-O-A-R-S-E, because George has a very hoarse voice on this album. And it's also a pretty down album, too. He was going through divorce with his first wife. In fact, there's a song in here, Bye Bye Love. If anybody's familiar with that song, or the Beach Boys, not Beach Boys, what am I thinking of? The Everly Brothers. They did that song, and George does his version and rewrites a lot of the lyrics. And I'm not sure if it works. It's not the worst version of that song I ever heard. But it's definitely not particularly a standout in this album. In fact, there's only like one or two standouts for me. There's the title track, Dark Horse, which he did later on in his life live with the regular voice, and it sounds incredible. And there's a couple others too. I haven't given this one much of a spin either, so I can't really say much about it. I mean, I like George, so I have to say I like it because I don't hate it, certainly. I'm just biased because I just like George. And then the final one that's in the box set, George's sixth album, or fourth classic one, is this one, Extra Texture, Read All About It. This one I've actually heard a lot more times than Dark Horse. And this one is okay, but it's okay to a certain point. Some of the songs, I gotta be honest here, some of the songs just run way too long. You feel like they should have faded out maybe 30 seconds or even a whole minute before that. His voice is recovered on here, but not entirely. There's some voices where he still sounds a bit, I don't know, whiny, or the hoarse voice is still present on some of the tracks. Not all of them. This is why this one is a little bit of an upgrade from the previous album. To me, a few of the standout tracks, The Answer's at the End, which you might think is very spiritual, but has a really nice piano part to it. I love it. And This Guitar Can't Keep From Crying, which is sort of a rewrite of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, which I think is an excellent song. Well, both of them are excellent songs, I should say. There's a few more on here, but I don't want to go too deep into it. So those are the 4 albums that I have out of the 6 that are in this box set. Of course, do I intend to get the box set? Maybe, if the right amount of money comes into my life, but I'm not needing anytime soon. I got these 4 albums. They're not remastered, I know, so the sound quality it's probably gonna be leaps and bounds when I get the box set and hear this stuff. But as long as I get to hear it, and as long as the songs are still there, I'm okay with it. So, and then of course, those were all the albums that were on his Apple label. When you sign to a certain artist, you sign to a record label. For those of you who aren't music people, and I'm sure there are some. So, and then of course after these albums, he formed his own record label called Dark Horse Records, taking the title from the album, of course. And he did a bunch of albums after that, and those were released about 10 years ago in 2004 on the Dark Horse Years box set. So now his career has come complete 360. So, guys, I don't want to sound preachy, but definitely check out George Harrison's solo career, especially if you love Something or Here Comes the Sun while my guitar, all those Beatles songs. Definitely check out his solo career. All the albums aren't for everybody, I will say that. But in terms of the where to start term, there was a greatest hits that came out a couple years ago in 2009 called "Let It Roll: The Songs of George Harrison," and you should go check that out. It's got I think 19 songs on there from his entire career, from the beginning to his last album. There are a couple of tracks like "As Me" I would have preferred instead, but I think for what it is, it does a really nice job of introducing those people to the songs of George Harrison. So check that one out first, and then discover the albums. If I had to pick maybe 5 to check out, definitely check out All Things Must Pass, the George Harrison album, Cloud 9, Brainwashed, and even though it's not strictly just him, The Concert for Bangladesh. Those would be the 5 that I'd pick as a starting point. They're not necessarily my favorite 5, but if you had to pick about where to start in terms of familiar songs, or is it too preachy? None of these albums really are too preachy. Brainwash might be a little bit, but I think you'll get over it. It's my personal favorite. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to chat about my about my music passion and just what a creative artist George was. It sort of blows my mind to think I was alive when he was alive. Believe it or not, because in my mind he's always been dead. I don't know, just every memory I have of him always connects to he's always been dead. Kind of like John Lennon. He passed in 1980. Was killed in 1980. As we Beatle fans like to say, he was killed, not just died. Sorry, had to get that in there. And so to me, I've always associated John as a dead person. And for some reason, George too, even though there was a span of 7 or 8 years that I was still alive, and so is he. So I just wanted to say a lot about him, guys. Because these vlogs are sort of been like, what's on my mind, what is, just what I've been thinking about, and also what kind of person I am leading up to my 21st birthday, and even what I'll be after my 21st birthday. So I'm running out of breath, so I probably got to end this vlog here. So check out all that stuff. Check out my links. Follow me on Twitter at It's Only Tom. Follow me on Vine, links in the description. Check out my podcast, Triple Threat, which does talk about George Harrison's album Brainwash. We did a 2-part episode, so check that out also. That'll be in the description on our homepage. You can download the episodes on our YouTube page. Definitely check out all of Conan O'Brien's performances and interviews with his musical guests, Beck, Paul Simon, Danny Harris, and Norah Jones. Those are all on his website. I'm not sponsored. Sometimes I like to pretend that I am. And maybe I'll put those in the description as well. So thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow for another daily vlog on 21 to 21. Thanks for watching, guys.